Ramesh was a farmer, a simple man of the soil. His hands were rough, his back bent from years of labor, but his heart was steady. He lived with his wife Mira and two children, Sita and Arun, in a small hut near the wide Kosi River. Their home was humble: mud walls, a thatched roof, a few cots, and utensils. But to Ramesh, the greatest treasure was his 2 acres of farmland. Every morning before sunrise he walked barefoot into the fields. The cool dew touched his skin, and he smiled as he saw green shoots rising. "This land is our life," he told his children. "As long as the soil gives, we will never go hungry." His dream was simple: to save enough money to send his children to school and to one day build a brick house safe from rain. One year, the monsoon came early. At first the villagers rejoiced. The rice grew quickly, tall and green. But the clouds did not stop gathering. Day after day, rain fell harder. The river grew restless, rising higher than anyone could remember. One evening, Ramesh stood on the bank and watched the water swirl. The current was fierce, licking at the edges of his field. Mira called to him, "Come home, the river looks dangerous." Ramesh nodded but felt a heavy fear in his chest. The elders whispered, "The river remembers. Be careful." Then the storm broke. Lightning split the sky, thunder shook the ground, and rain poured in sheets. By midnight, shouts filled the village. "The river has broken! Water is coming!" Ramesh snatched up Arun, Mira carried Sita, and together they waded through knee-deep water. Neighbors ran, animals cried, huts collapsed. The current dragged at their legs as they struggled toward higher ground. Behind them, their hut crumbled. The fields vanished under the torrent. Ramesh looked back once and saw his young rice plants bowing, crushed by water. His heart felt torn apart. The family reached a small rise where villagers huddled through the night, shivering under makeshift shelters. Around them stretched an endless sea of water. When dawn came, the destruction was clear. Huts were gone, cattle swept away, and fields drowned. Ramesh stood in silence, staring at what had been his land. He bent to touch the soil, but only wet silt slipped through his fingers. His knees gave way, and tears rolled down his face. "Everything is gone," he whispered. Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. "We are alive," she said, but her voice shook. The children clung to her, asking, "When will we go home?" But there was no home. Relief boats arrived with rice and lentils, but supplies were few. Villagers stood in long lines with bowls in hand. Ramesh too waited, head bowed. For a proud farmer, each scoop of rice felt like shame. Yet he had no choice, his children were hungry. "Baba, I'm hungry," little Arun whispered. Ramesh's chest ached. "I know, my son. I will bring food." As the weeks passed, the water receded, but the land was ruined. The fertile soil was gone, replaced by sand and stone. Where crops once stood, only barren wasteland remained. Ramesh dug with his bare hands until his fingers bled, trying to find earth that could grow again. But the soil was dead. Other villagers decided to leave. "We will go to the city," they said. "There at least we can work and eat." Ramesh listened but could not imagine leaving. The land was not just his work, it was his identity. Yet it no longer gave him life. One day, Arun brought a bundle of wild greens. "Look, Baba. We can eat this." His innocent smile pierced Ramesh's despair. At that moment, Ramesh understood the land might be gone, but his children were alive. For them, he had to keep going. With neighbors' help, he cleared a small patch of ground. The soil was poor, but he planted mustard, spinach, a few beans. He worked with the same care as before, though his heart was heavy. The plants that grew were thin, but enough to keep his family alive. Slowly, the village began to recover. Huts were rebuilt with bamboo and tin. Children played again, their laughter timid but real. One evening, under a sky full of stars, Sita asked, "Baba, will our fields ever come back?" Ramesh pulled her close. "Fields can be destroyed, my child. But if the farmer's spirit breaks, nothing can grow again. We must be like seeds. Even when buried, they wait for the rains and rise again." He said the words bravely, though inside he still mourned. The flood had stolen his dreams of a better life. But when he looked at his children's faces glowing in starlight, he knew he could not surrender. Months passed, then years. Many families left the village for the city, but Ramesh stayed. His fields never fully recovered, yet he grew what little he could. Each seed became a symbol of survival, each bowl of rice a victory. Villagers began to point to him. Ramesh never gave up, they said. Children listened to his story and learned that even when the river takes everything, hope can still be planted. The flood had broken him, but it had not ended him. He lived on, scarred yet rooted, like a tree struck by lightning but still standing. His story became the story of many farmers, people whose lives are swept away by nature's fury, yet who find the courage to begin again. And in every stalk that rose afterward, in every grain that fed his children, there was not despair but a quiet song of endurance, of resilience, of survival.